Now, oh, there I am. You can hear me now, can't you?
Nope.
Oh, come on. It says you can.
I can't. Is the volume turned up?
Now, can you hear me?
No.
What the heck is wrong?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay. It's kind of got a delay. Let's see. Brian Martin, what's up, y'all? Blue Dog. Yeah, I'm talking. For some reason I didn't pick this up. I don't know why. Nate Spence. There's Nate. If it's not one thing, it's another. That's right. Robert Pierpoint. No audio. Okay, I got it now, guys. I can hear you. Took a little. Yeah, and there's like a delay. Here where I'm at, I don't have the best internet service in the world. Welcome back to live. Yeah, I just, kind of lost my mojo there for a while. I didn't feel like going live. I don't know. It gets hot like this. And then, after I was going live, at 6:00 at night. And then, yeah, after about 4:00, 5:00, I'm pretty worthless. Let's stop this. Let's stop this right here. Boom. All right, 15 people here. What I really wanted to do on this live was, I know I've told people probably in the comments, and I don't know if I've told anybody in the video or not, but I get, oh, thanks, Robert. See the coffee cups and there's tumblers. How do I get it? Tumblers, and then little water jugs, and then coffee cups. And they got both the little round sticker, born 100 years too late. And then they have the big shadow one that it says it's a tradition. And if you give me your email, or how can I do that? I don't know. Send me your email and I can get you the price. If you want to help us out, then that's good. I don't know how many of y'all know that W Supply contacted me or talked to me, and I've bought a lot of stuff from W Supply in the past, and I've known Buddy for a long time, since way back back in the old Shade Tree days, or in the Big Game Houndsman Forum, bulletin board, and about putting some of the content that I've done as a podcast. And I got company. Oh, she just wants to make sure she's not on camera. Anyway, so I said, sure. I think that, the interviews of some of these old hunters and stuff is just tailor-made for a podcast. Hounds and trapping go hand in hand. Well, I guess in some places maybe they do, but yeah. And so, and I still got my interviews from Charlie Settles and Dennis Carson. Those are the guys that were down in Mexico with Dale Lee, and I've got those together, and I've sent them or I haven't sent them out. I sent the George Pavey, and I got the Charlie Settles ready to send out to W, and they're going to do some audio editing, and then we record a little intro to it, and then they're going to use it as like a bonus episode on their podcast. And then also I did Clay Henderson. Mr. Henderson has lived up. There's a little place in the road up here by the Gila called Dusty, and it's just a spot in the road, and way away from everything else. And they've been up there. Their family settled there like in 1917, and he was raised up there. And I'd always heard about the Henderson dogs, and Jim Farmer was the one who told me about them. and come to find out, my dogs kind of come from that same line, or some of those dogs. And anyway, so I thought, man, I'd like to talk to him sometime. And Jim Farmer went up there with me, and we sat down and we talked. Shoot, I probably got 3 hours of content from talking to him. And so that's something I put together, and it'll be part of a podcast, but I videoed it also. So it'll be on the channel. I'll wait until they publish it as a podcast, and then I'll put it on the channel as a video. But yeah, he was a really good guy to talk to. Let me see if I can show. Been up there, ran lots of bears, ran lions, had some really good stories. Just a really interesting man to talk to. So that, how do I get rid of that? There he is, right there in that corner. But anyway, and I'm kind of rusty at this. Hey, from West Virginia, listen to you on W. Great podcast. Oh, thank you, Marshall. Timber Hill Red Bones. Hey, Timber Hill has a YouTube channel and makes some videos on her red bone coonhounds. Man, I knew I'd get a trapper in here, probably giving me a hard time. But anyway, so I kind of want to do a live to kind of announce about the podcast and about what we got planned. I probably got 5, let's see, I got 4 interviews that are ready that I'll send to them, and they're going to put them out, I think, every other week as a bonus episode. And the Mr. Henderson's it'll be a probably a 2-part. They want to keep the podcast down to less than an hour. So that'll be a 2-part, and I'll probably do the whole thing on my YouTube channel here. And then George Pavey and Charlie Settles, man, I've been editing that one, and that guy was just a gold mine. He was really, really neat guy to talk to. And then I've got other guys too that I got arrangements to talk to. Mike Root, and Mike Root, he lives up here in the Gila, been up there hunting lions, dry ground on mules for 40 years. And kind of different than the rest of these guys. You know, he wasn't raised in this country. He came out here, I believe, from Pennsylvania, and lived in a tent up there on the mountain for a long time hunting, and then has been up there ever since, you know, and just loves his hounds and hunting lions and bears. I mean, but he prefers the lions, I think. I'm doing great, Timber Hill. But that was the main thing, to let you guys know that, you know, there for a while, I started out with the interviews, and, just a lot of things came up. I was busy, you know, moving, the fires came, I got sick there for a little while. I got meningitis and just couldn't do it like I wanted to. And then, like I'd said before, that I got real fancy with my videoing and everything. And then when it came time to edit it, I couldn't edit very good. But yeah, and what else? Oh, for those of you like Rob and Nate, and if I miss somebody, I had that Patreon site, and I appreciate there's there's 7 or 8 guys that were supporting me there on Patreon, and man, I really appreciate it. But I got an email from Patreon, and what they were doing, or what they said they were going to do, and what they supported was just not something I could go with. It wasn't anything I couldn't abide by it. It's not anything. I can't see them taking money from you guys or taking money from me to support something that is not support something that's probably going to try to outlaw hunting. And I just didn't think that was right. So I've been in the process of shutting that down, and I have, and it's a strange thing, because I just already said I was going to shut it down, and I was looking for another platform, because I raised a little money for that, so I can keep doing what I'm doing, providing content, and then going out. The main thing is I always wanted to go out and interview some of these old timers before they're gone, And strange thing, I was shutting that down, trying to find another platform where I could get some support. And YouTube sent me a message saying that I was eligible for memberships. And so what that means is next to the subscribe button on my YouTube channel, there's a little thing that says join. And when you hit that join, I think there's different levels, you know, like $1.99 per month. And then there's like a $4.99, a $10.99, there's a 20 something dollar one per month. So yeah, so I'm moving everything over there. And you know, really YouTube is not a whole lot better than Patreon. But the thing I like about YouTube is they actually, if I make good content and enough people see it and they run advertisements on my channel, they actually pay me. So instead of taking money away from me, they're giving me money for providing content. So it's just different than instead of Patreon, you know, was taking money from you guys, and YouTube's going to take a little bit of money, you know, for providing that service. But at least for the most part, they pay me. So, you know, it you know, and it's not, it helps me. I mean, it helps me a lot. So I really appreciate it. So anybody got any questions? Wow, 29 guys in here. Any of you guys got a camera and a microphone and want to join me on the live and do an experiment and see if this thing works? I just figured out that on this program I can send you a link. And if you click on that link, you can come on this live with me. So I have any takers? All you need is a camera on your computer and a microphone. No takers yet. Okay, let me see, Rob. Let me see if I can do this. Right there, guest. Guest link copied. There goes the link, Rob. Oh, wow. Oh, it'll show that. That's cool. Robert Neal. Hey, Brett, not sure exactly the details, but any way you could just switch over to putting all your stuff on Big Game Houndsman? You mean on their Facebook page or on their bulletin board, or what are you talking about, Robert? Let's see if. I'm going to show this right here. Let's see if this comes up. I'm still kind of new to this, you guys. So if there's a little. Oh. Instead of using YouTube, I could probably upload directly to Facebook, but the Facebook video, I don't like it. It's real slow uploading. And with YouTube, I have the opportunity to get content out to more people. and YouTube is the second largest search engine. So kind of the way I look at it, if there's some kid somewhere, especially with kids, they're the ones that really, they like to use YouTube. They're the biggest audience on YouTube. And so if there's a kid somewhere that just, by chance hears, about hunting with hounds and wants to see, what it's all about, then maybe they'll stumble across my channel and they'll see some good content or something that is respectful content, and they'll think, hey, this is a good thing. And the more people that we get, that especially young people that are interested, don't get the wrong idea about what we do, I think that's a better thing. Facebook will limit you. I mean, you can, unless you pay to have your content, shared with people, they hide it. They don't get it out like they do on YouTube. YouTube, for, of course, they don't think the same way we do, but they do provide a platform that lets, here I am in East Jabip, New Mexico, and I can upload a video and the whole world can see it. I get, over 1,000 views on a lot of my videos. I got some videos that have, I got one video that has something like 90,000 views and stuff. So that's a big audience. And I don't think I could ever even come close to that audience on Facebook. Yeah, Blue Dog. Let me see if I can do that, Blue Dog. If you wasn't on YouTube, I'd never seen you. Yeah, see? And oh, thanks, Mel. Ha! Let me see if I can show that. Thank you, Mel. I appreciate it. I'm learning this still, guys, so I'll get better, I promise. Doing good, doing good. I'd watch it YouTube before anything else. Bullseye. Hey, Brett, I love hunting, but I'm back east. And I do. Let's look at this one right here. Okay. I think what I'm way behind, I get to staring at the screen. I forget that you guys are just staring at me and I'm saying nothing. Hey, Brad, I love hunting, but I'm back east and I do the coon hunting thing with my English red tick hounds. Have had a walker or two, but just wondering, when are we going to get to see a big old male lion? Laughing out loud. Well, I've put a couple of them up. And you just got to go through my videos and find them. I don't, it's not that I'm not going to ever show dead lions, because I have shown some in the past. But for the most part, I really like sharing the dog work, the adventure of riding your mule and getting out there and more or less doing it the old fashioned way. And hunting the way I do and where I hunt. Sometimes it can be difficult to put up a lion. I trail, like a lot of people say, I trail a lot, but catching is really, really hard. Here today, rocking them hounds. Let's say, I love hunting, but I'm back. Okay, I answered that one. Man, this is a good program. Robert Neal said, yeah, I see what you're saying. Might be too specialized. Yeah, the whole, one of the ideas I had for making the videos, when I first started making the videos, I made them, I was just kind of documenting my days. And then I come up with the idea, or YouTube, and this was way back in 2012. And I started sharing a little bit, and one thing led to another. But I think if I can show what a real respectful way of hunting, that might be a little more attractive to younger people or people who don't know anything about it. How do you start your pups treeing the drag? Arizona lion hunter. Let's see. It's if I forget any, if I don't see any of you guys' messages, just repost them and I'll try to get to them. Have to stay here and fight the good fight. Yes, sir. Marshall Nestor. Let's see. Rockingham Hounds. Troy, it's all about the hunt. Yes, sir, it is. And that's why I watch old school. Exactly. Robert. Arizona lion hunter. How do you start your pups treeing the drag? I've done several things and I've got tons of video that I have not edited how I've worked my dogs when I can't, of course, the best thing is to get out and get on a good lion track and have them trail, and then have them go with the older dogs and have them start working the track. And theoretically, hopefully, if you can get some put up, then those young dogs get to see it and they get excited and then they know what you're out there looking for. But I use some of McGraw's lion scent, and I've made drags. I've hung stuffed animals in trees with the lion scent on it. And I have even, then after I done some of that, I even took my drone. Cause I thought, these dogs, you lay an overnight track and I'm dragging that lion scent. They smell that I've been there too. They have to. So they know, like Booger, he'll go catch a lion, but he won't run that bottled scent. He just looks at me like I'm trying to get him in trouble or something. So what I did was one time is I took my drone out there and I made a little piece of cloth and I soaked it in that lion scent and I flew that drone with a string tied to it and I drug that lion scent across I couldn't get to work. I need to log in with my Facebook account. Oh, okay. Whatever works, Rob, try it. But anyway, so I flew that drone and drug that little strip around out there, and we got a gravel pit that's pretty big area not far from me, and it's pretty good area to mess around with the pups. And I had those dogs. They did, I gave them about 4 or 5 hours and they went out there and they trailed that deal. I got some dogs that'll run one of those drags just like they're running a lion. And then I got like Booger, he's really the only one that won't run it. He just won't have nothing to do with it. And then I hang something in the tree and they go find the tree and I shake it a little bit and they get excited and they get to treeing. And I had a big old house cat that hung around here for a while, and big old tomcat. And I caught him one time and I took him out there and the little puppies were just little puppies. And I just, he had no stress. As a matter of fact, he was a wild cat and he really had it made because he got to eat canned cat food. And I hung him up there in a mesquite tree and just took those little young puppies out there walking. And I let them find that cat on their own. I just kept walking around circles till they finally recognized it. And then they treed on him for a little while. And of course I let him go, because we need good mousers around here. So, oh, Rob doesn't have Facebook. I didn't know you had to log into Facebook. I thought if you just had that link, Rob, you could get on. Sorry. So that's kind of, how I've done most of the dogs. The terrorists, the young dogs I have, the 3 main ones are Uno, Al, and Timmy. I've let them run jackrabbits and everything. The only thing I've ever really tried to shock them off of is deer and javelina and coyotes. So this is the year that they should really, they're either going to make it or they're not, but they're all cold trailing already. And that's the main thing in this country is to be able to have a dog that has a cold enough nose to trail. Oh, look at this. I'm way behind on this one. Okay. Well, that's the way my pack is. I have a couple of house cats my dogs don't care about. And when you're out hunting and running bears, it's like a flip a switch. Yeah. In this last podcast or this last interview I did with Clay Henderson, he talks about 2 pups he had years ago, and he had some barn cats that ran around. And he said from the time those pups were little bitty that they ran all over. Red, he's ready to join. Look at that. Anyway, let me get back to Clay's story. And he said those little pups started running those house cats and treeing them from when they were little bitty guys. He said, and they would just stay treed on them all day long. Said at first when they're little, those house cats or those barn cats would just climb up a little bit. And then as the dogs got bigger, the house cats or the barn cats kept climbing higher. So those dogs just really turned on and would tree those cats and just stay treed all day long. He said then after that, when he started taking them hunting, he said, man, they were already made dogs. They'd go out and hit a lion track and trail it up. Oh, host a chat. I just seen that. Rob, I'm not sure how to do this, but I'm going to. Dadgummit. I have started a few coonhounds with house cats, and no, I didn't kill them. It works. Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, they don't have to be killed. They don't have to be shot out or anything. These dogs, they want to trail. I mean, and they just need to figure out how to keep trailing until they get something up, And that's probably the trouble I've had for the last couple of years. I had like 5 dogs that died, and they were all my older dogs, and I thought I had some younger dogs that were ready to take over, but maybe I didn't. Yeah. And yeah, Robert, and I ran some coons, and the problem I have with coon hunting is it happens in the middle of the night. And, I like to sleep in the middle of the night. I go to bed about 7:30, 8 o'clock sometimes, but I get up sometimes at 3:30 or 4. So, and it's hot now. I mean, it is just wicked bad hot. I was out there just a little while ago before I started the live stream, and it was in my kennel with misters going. It was 115 degrees. So I go out there and I have some pups. I have some pups from an accidental breeding, and I take ice bottles out there every day and put ice bottles down so those pups can all gather around those ice bottles. And they do. They'll lay around them. And then I take a hose and I squirt everything down, and I squirt the hounds down as much as I can. They don't like it, but I know it has to feel good. I don't know how to get Rob on here. I don't know how to do it, Rob. Shared screen, show and stream. Oh, there he is. Dadgummit. I got to get rid of one of these other ones, and you will show up. Look at that. Ah, where'd you go? There you are. Hey, it's working. Can I hear you? I can't hear you. I can see you.
I didn't say anything yet. Can you hear me?
I think I'd rather hear you than see you.
Thanks, Brett.
Amazing. I'm new at this. This is a little program that runs on the internet, and it's called Be Live. And the reason I got it is because I wanted to be able to share pictures and stuff like that. And then I seen this other little tab on there that says you can have a guest.
So you can hear me or not?
Oh, I bet I don't have any. Hold on. Oh,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, and I got my headphones on.
Good, good.
Yeah, there's a bad delay, though, between when I can hear you and when your lips move.
Well, it works.
I got this screen that's more live, But then this screen is the one that but it's delayed. Cool. This is, yeah, it does. I'll get the host. I'll get the public chat going again. So, Rob, you're back east, aren't you?
Yes. Upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Boy, but you've been out several times to hunt lions out west though, haven't you?
I've been out to Arizona to hunt with Chris Todd 3 times, horseback, dry ground. One year I was there with my son.
I think there's going to be too much of a delay. Nothing like it. Hardest way to hunt, but hardest way to hunt, but to me, the most enjoyable.
Absolutely.
I got to show this. See if it comes up. Rick Owens, friend of mine, real good friend of mine. He asked a good question. Can you think of something you learned from the men you have interviewed that you ended up using and improved the way you hunt? We can hear and see your guess. Oh, okay, cool. Rick. Yeah, man, there's been so much. I mean, so much I've learned from them, little things. It's confusing. But there's a big delay. Sorry, guys. This is a little confusing for me. But yeah, there's been, things like, talking to Terrell Shelley years ago and having problems with the hounds, wanting to fox on me and wanting to, in this dry ground and in this rock where you can't find a track. So, asking them, how do you find a track? How do you find a track? And, or how do you know what they're running? And him saying, not saying, well, you look at this. He just said, man, you got to learn how to read those dogs. You got to learn how to read those dogs. So, that's something that kind of stuck to me. And then guys telling me things like, they don't, I think one of the biggest problems, the hardest thing is when you're dry ground lion hunting, the way I do, where I do, it's hard to find a track. So and we don't have a whole lot of lions down here. So, you take those dogs out and they're real gamey dogs. They want a trail. They want to go catch something, but you don't want them running trash, so you have to try to learn how to read them to determine whether they're on a lion or a fox. And a fox is something I don't worry about too bad. And, but I've got dogs that'll cold trail a stinking coyote, or a cold trail a deer. And so you just got to really be, paying attention and seeing where they're trailing and how they're going, but typically after you've done it for a long time, you can really look at that dog and tell, that dog's, by his intensity and the way he's acting and the way he's trailing and where you're going, watch your trailing, So, and there's guys that are really good at that. And I still, I still have a hard time, I'm kind of like those dogs. We go for 4 or 5 days without being able to trail a lion. I get trashy too. I start wanting them to just trail anything, but that was a good question, Rick. Thank you very much. Rick's a good friend of mine right down the road here. Hit the like button, folks. Help the channel. Yeah. Crush that like button. Rob, how the lion honey in upstate. Lion upstate. I run hare, bear, bobcat, and coyote up here. Hey, Rob, do you run beagles for your rabbits or your hare? Chris Watson, been 90 at 6,000 feet here. Jeez. Nate Spence, we can hear you. Okay. 1633 milliliter, we can hear you. Let me see if I can find this. And I feel really bad about this because I had a guy I had 2 people that gave me super chats last time or time before last, I believe. And I didn't recognize it because like I said, I'm kind of new at this. Let me get their name here. Supers. Okay. Cole Walton. 2 times he gave me a super chat and I didn't ever recognize him. So Cole, if you're out there, man, I really appreciate it. I'm sorry. I didn't recognize it at the time. I get kind of behind. So, and then also Finley River, he gave me a super chat. And if you go on YouTube, look up Finley River Kennels. He runs coon hounds and makes videos and if you look real close for his videos, you'll find him. I think he's wearing a diaper dancing on the cab of his truck, which is pretty unique, I think. I run beagles, sort of. They're larger than the beagle. Let me see if I can show that. What the hey is super chat? A super chat, Robert, is where I guess there's some way on here that you can click super chat and it that's why a lot of these guys run these lives is they can hit a super chat for I think $1, maybe $2, maybe $5, whatever it is, and it goes to my channel, it goes to my membership deal or to my YouTube channel monetization, and it's just kind of a way to show support, and a lot of guys get on there and say, hit that super chat. Give me that super chat. I'm not like that. Advice on 5-month-old pups. Arizona lion hunter. Let's see. Arizona lion hunter. Advice on 5-month-old pups. Get a good handle on them, I think. I believe there's a lot you can do just by getting a good handle on them, by teaching them to come to you, teaching them when you by the tone of your voice. Why does it say hide? Show. Anyway, by the tone of your voice, those dogs learn, and you go out there, hey guys, cut that out, or hey, shut up, and you use that old rough tone of voice. They recognize it, and they learn, and then good dogs, when they do, like getting in the kennel. I don't know if you ever seen in my videos, I got a bunch of hound dogs out there, and I can tell them all to go get in their kennel, and they go get in their kennel because they're looking to please you for the most part. If I have a dog that doesn't want to please me and just is total I don't care. I'm not going to have that dog around very long. I just won't put up with that. So then when you get out there and you're hunting with your dogs, and those dogs go to trashing a little bit on you, then you, instead of zapping them real hard with a shock collar, where you might take some of that hunt out of them, or where you might discourage them from trailing. They might got the wrong idea and you might ruin a good dog. You can just holler at them, discourage them. Hey, it's not a good dog or not a good thing. And then when you go in those dogs and you're on a lion track and your good dogs are trailing it, then you can kind of encourage those dogs, tell them good dogs. And they'll start trying from you, or trying for you, excuse me. I don't know why that don't show up. Does that make sense? I mean, does it help? I mean, I try to avoid using electricity as much as I can, because I just can't help but, and you can sure discourage a dog out here in this desert right away, because it's so hard to trail, and the conditions are so tough that they have to really, really want it, and they have to really try. And if you go to popping them and shocking them and being too hard on them, you're liable to just take all that out of them. I'd rather have a few trash races and still have my dogs wanting to trail a lion track than to shock them and then just them, be scared to do anything. Does that make sense? And I've heard good hunters say, they catch a dog on running trash, they just fry their heads too. And saying, well, if they were a good dog, you can't ruin them anyway. I've had guys say that too. I just know that with me, I don't like to be that hard on them. Now, I should also say, with an all-out deer race or javelina race or coyote race where they're just balls to the wall and going 90 miles an hour and they're not listening and everything, then the electricity comes out, and then I will work on them. Anything else, guys? We are working on 46 minutes right here. I got the fan going. $40 guys in here. That's good. 22 thumbs up. That's great. I appreciate it. So anyway, watch out for that W Supply podcast. And then of course we got the Houndsman XP podcast. Man, they put out some great content. And then that Song of the Hounds, they haven't put anything out for a while. I don't know if that guy quit or not. And then Nightlife Kennel with Steve Fieldler and Brent Reeves. They got a podcast out now too. And I think they're focusing more on the coon hounds and maybe more on the competition type hunting than of course I don't do that. And I'm getting sidetracked again, but and then the Houndsman XP, they're more, they cover everything, especially with Seth Hall helping them out. They're going to he's going to talk to some more sighthound guys and coyote hunting guys, and they're covering more of a bigger area. Me, myself, I'm going to be covering more of the older guys that have been doing it for a long, long time. And more of the Southwest guys right now, because it's easier for me to get to them. Now I got some guys down in Texas, bobcat hunters down in Texas. Some of those guys are 80 something years old that Cody King had told me that he would introduce me to. And I want to get down there and talk to them. And then a couple guys in Oklahoma also. There's an older man in Oklahoma named Otis Llewellyn. And his son is probably one of the better lion hunters around right now. And Otis is, he's been around for a long time, trapped and run hounds and been doing it for a long time. Now he's in Oklahoma, running bobcats. And I talked to him on the phone, and he said that he would talk to me. And Robert Nail says electricity can shut them down. Yes, sir. And Rob asks, who's next on your interview? I plan on, I don't know what W is going to put up next. I hope it's Clay Henderson. And then we'll have 2 parts with Clay Henderson, part 1, part 2. And if you join my membership, or if you join my channel membership deal, when you join that, you have access. I put a sneak peek. I put the videoed interview up on that already, just what I call a sneak peek, because I want guys to watch it, and those guys can watch it. And then, in future interviews, if you guys tell me what other questions you want me to ask these whole guys, what kind of questions would be good. So that's kind of what I do with the membership. I want to kind of use them as a sounding board, so they can, if they watch the video before it comes out and they can say, hey, that's stupid, or that's not good, or, kind of, as I told W Supply, criticize me, but be gentle. That's a good one. Marshall Nestor said, get them used to the tone, and you don't need the electric as much. And that's exactly right. Train them to come back. It's the same thing as the guys that used to train them to the horn, of your truck. You used to honk your horn and they'd come in, but that tone is right there with them, and train them to come back to the tone. And then that way you can stop them and turn them around. You're not hurting their feelings too bad with that electricity. All right, guys, we didn't have the best internet connection, I don't think, today. Kind of a delay for sure. And I wanted to do a guest, but I'm not sure how that's going to work in the future. I don't think I have fast enough internet out here to bring somebody in. So we'll get some more. Join the, if you feel like it, get on the membership, join it. And you can ask, questions, or whatever, give suggestions. I got another video coming out. One day I took my cameras and I set everything up, because matter of fact, I've had Rob ask me, and I've had several people ask me to share the equipment I use, what I use, when I go out on my mules, what I use when I'm packing, what I carry around with me. And I filmed the video, and part of it turned out okay. So I'm editing that right now, and I'll probably have it up Tuesday afternoon. So yeah, Rob, it was worth a try. Oh, Robert Nail, who did you interview in Boise? George Pavey. George, and I went up there to interview him because George was like the last living 3 guys that were down in Mexico with Dale Lee. And man, there's a heck of a story there. And I've got it all, and I'm going to be sharing it in the next, I'm going to share it with W for the podcast, and then also the video will be on my channel. So Blue Dog, God bless you. Yeah, God bless you, Blue Dog, and good hunting to you also. Mel Utter, what do you film with? Let me see if I can find it. This little setup right here is what I carry on my mule. It's a GoPro and a housing that I bought that has an external mic with a dead cat or fuzzy whatever to cut down on the wind noise. And that's what I kind of use as a point and shoot. I hold it out when I'm showing something, or I can turn it back on myself when I'm trying to do whatever, tell the story. That's what I use. And then at the truck, I use this Canon M50. It's a mirrorless camera, a really, really good quality. And then I got another Rode mic around here somewhere that I use on it. Or like when I did the gear video, and then when I did the interviews, I used a Rode wireless mic to have good sound. And then when I've been doing the interviews, I have a Zoom 6 recorder that I use. And I just ordered 2 condenser mics and I got the XLR cables and little mic stands. But yeah, that's kind of what I've used so far. I've thought about buying some different, it's, carrying and trying to film while you're on a mule is confusing, or not confusing. It's I'm getting confused here. It's tricky. You don't want to, you can't have a big old camera. You got to have lightweight. Oh, and then for some, this is a Lumix, and I carry it. You've probably seen the video where I lost it up there on the mountain. This is strictly, it has a big zoom on it. You can see it has a 200 millimeter. Yeah, 200 millimeter zoom. And you can reach out there and take a picture a long ways away. And it takes good video if it's on a tripod, but handheld, it doesn't have any stabilization. So you get pretty shaky, nasty stuff, The main thing is the GoPro. And coffee. You got to have coffee. Oh, thank you, Nate. I enjoy doing it. I hunt by myself a lot, and I thought maybe, when I started making the videos, I thought, well, and I don't have, and most of us here, we don't have anything against the videos that just show a bunch of dogs barking at the bottom of the tree and somebody shooting a lion out. I mean, we all know what it took to get to that tree. I mean, most of the time. But so many people that are in between that don't know anything about hound hunting or anything, they don't know all the, how we take care of our dogs, how we love our dogs, how, to us, to real houndsmen, I mean, it's all about the hounds, how they develop, how they trail, what they do, and actually catching the animal is kind of, I always get a kick out of them. A lot of guys, that's all they want to see, and I can understand, when I was younger, that was the way it was too. But now at my age, I like to just ride through the mountains and watch those dogs trail and see where that lion, try to figure out, make sure you're on a lion track, make sure you're going the right way, and watching those dogs trail. And then the old dogs are working, and then you got a young dog goes in there and he picks up a lose and he opens up over there and he starts whipping that tail. Man, to me, that's what it's all about. And then try to work that track out, and that's difficult in the country that I hunt. Thank you, Tom Hall. How come that won't stay up there, I wonder? Guys, thank you very much. If Sunday night's good, let me know. If you guys like to kind of hang out on Sunday night, I got something else. I'll probably be putting up some videos that are different than the hound hunting, because in our hunting, I drew an oryx tag, I drew an elk tag in Unit 15 archery, and I drew, me and my grandson and my nephew all drew Unit 21 deer archery. And of course, my camp was in Unit 21, and I've hunted Unit 21 a lot, so I know where there's a few buck or a few big bucks, So I'm still going to be getting the dogs out, but I'm going to devote I want to get an oryx, man. Those things, a Gimsbach, I guess is what they're called. Man, I ate some of that meat one time, and that's the best meat I've ever ate. It is good stuff. And my hunt is right out here behind my house, and there's an off range hunt, they call it, and it's a month. So I think I want to get one of those. And I went out scouting this morning, and I filmed some, so I'm going to try to film it. And if I have to get on a mule and traveling up, and not with the dogs, but by sight, because you can see their tracks in that sand out there, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'll try to film it and share it. I don't know, every time I get out of my niche, if I'm not hunting hounds and lions, then I think YouTube doesn't suggest or share out my content, but I'm going to try to do it. But I'll make a video of it anyway, whether they share it out or not. Help Red out, but signing up with a $10 Patreon membership. Rick, man, I appreciate it, Rick. I don't know if you've seen on the Patreon, I went to, I'm trying to change over to the YouTube membership. So if you go to my channel and right next to the subscribe button, there's a join button. And I'm going to try to share a bunch of, behind the scenes stuff that I don't feel comfortable sharing on YouTube open platform, or it might be too personal or something like that. I can share it right there on the YouTube membership channel. Robert Neal, sorry. To me, it's raise your own dogs and start them and finish them. Yeah, no kidding. You can take a lot of pride in that. The time was perfect for the East Coast. Rob said this time was good for the East Coast. Yeah, because, if we started at 4 or 6 o'clock there, so we'll probably get done before your bedtime. Hell yeah, videos of hunting other big game will be great. Yeah, I drew the tag, so I'm going to go ahead and share it. I videoed. I took my grandson last year, and he shot a pretty nice mule deer buck with a muzzleloader. I mean, neither one of us knew anything about hunting with a muzzleloader. He made a good shot, and I videoed it, but I didn't do as good a job as I wanted to. I should have had the camera out after we found the buck and he was taking the shot, but I didn't. I get I got excited and started helping him and forgot to film it, but I did get to film him trailing up the buck, the blood trail, and finding the buck. So if you watch that video, what's it called? It's called A Buck from My Grandson or something like that. So it was but he's spoiled now. He's going to think that that's what happens every time you go out hunting. And I got news for him. Sometimes you go home empty handed. Let's see. Rockingham Hounds. Troy, it's like I tell people, hound hunting is the only dog hunting where the dog tells you the whole story of the hunt. Love listening to the dogs. Man, me too. New member, welcome. Hey, look at that. Norman, let me see. There it is. I don't know how come it's not staying up. Thank you, Norman Keys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. New member to the channel. And you guys that are members of the channel, if some behind the scenes things that you want to see or anything, just get on that page or that community page, membership only, and shoot me a question. As long as it's not too personal. Let me show you some more of these pictures. There's some old time hounds and some old time hunters. Look at the chest on that sucker right there. And then here that's Mr. Henderson and his wife. Big time elk hunters. Man, there's a lot of elk in that country. That's Mr. Henderson when he was younger, right there in the middle with a bear they got. So cool, guys. We still got 34 people on here. So if you want to, let's try it again next Joshua. Yes. If you don't mind, I'm sorry to put you through that. If you could go over to the YouTube channel membership and join that, I really appreciate it. The Patreon, like I said earlier, I just did not like that email they sent out. I don't think it was right. So, and without getting political, because I don't want to get into politics, I I just don't think is right. So, and like I said, YouTube's not the best platform in the world for that. You know, they still support the same things, but they support me more. So that makes sense. Anyway, guys, we are over an hour. I better go. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining me. If there, like I said, if you have any questions, shoot it on my community page or whatever. And then we'll try again next Sunday night, same time. Oh, yeah, I'll be here. Yeah, next Sunday night at 4:00 Mountain Time. And look for the video this Tuesday night. I'm going to do that. I'm going to share that gear dump video where it's just everything that's in my truck. So, and it's a pretty long video because I got a lot of stuff in my truck. And then probably, I think it's either Tuesday morning. I think Tuesday morning, W Supply will have the next podcast up. So, and I think it's going to be Clay Henderson, Mr. Henderson, I hope. And then right after he gets that up, like 2 days later, I'll put up the video of it. So you can listen to it, the podcast, and then you can go to the video and kind of put a face to a voice. So good night to everybody. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.